Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarottam Pravaram Munina Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Om. Yoga Sutra of Maharshi Patanjali. We can go for ultimate truth. We can try to find the ultimate truth on different various dimensions. There are different methods, different paths, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, lot and lots of different sadhana, different spiritual practice to attain God, to be with the God. Same Maharshi also giving us different options. And also these options in step by step on the logical manner. In first chapter, he's identify what we want in our life. What is goal of human consciousness? What is the possibility we have? That is called samadhi, self-realization. So everything regarding this self-realization, samadhi, Maharshi is explaining in chapter number 1. Definitions of yoga, definition of samadhi, and what are the different types of the samadhi, different type of the consciousness we can achieve. What our goal, what we should do when we are start going on spiritual journey. What will be my ultimate goal when we are going on the different type of the destination or the journey. Someone wants to go to Himalaya on Everest, or someone want to travel in different part of the world. So they need the ultimate, the main destination where they want to go. They need to visualize, they need to do preparation. They will have lots of questions. What will it look like when I'm going to reach my ultimate destination? Same questions are asked by different students to Maharshi. What will be samadhi look like? What are the different stages? Nirbij samadhi, sabij samadhi, sampragyak, asampragyat, savitark, nirvitark, all different types of the samadhi Maharshi is explaining in chapter number 1. So we have the clear guideline of what we want, but that is not enough. If we know what we know and we know where we are going, that is not going to move one step ahead, then it's no use. We need some practical tools. to achieve these objectives. So in chapter number 2, Maharshi explaining all the practical tools to attain samadhi, attain self-realization. So let's begin chapter number 2. Dvitiyopadah, second chapter, Sadhanapadah, practice of yoga. The first chapter is more about definition of yoga. Now, second chapter is on practices of yoga. What type of the different practice we should do in our day-to-day life to attain samadhi. First practice, Kriya Yoga, the name of the practice that every spiritual practitioner can practice in their day-to-day life to achieve samadhi. Tapah swadhyayeshwara pranidhanani kriya yoga. Tapah swadhyayeshwara pranidhanani kriya yoga. Tapah swadhyayeshwara pranidhanani kriya yoga. So the practice is called Kriya Yoga. And what this Kriya Yoga is made of? It's made of 3 different techniques. Tapaha, Swadhyaya, Ishwar Pranidhan. Tapaha, physical, mental purifications. When we want to purify gold or want to purify some other metals, what we do? We put into the Agni, we put into fire to make all the impurities washed away. So same sadhak, spiritual practitioner, put him or herself into tapas practice, purifications. It is also called Karma Yoga. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan say Karma Yoga, yoga of action. By doing the action, repeated actions, we can purify our body, we can purify our mind, we can purify our heart. Tapaha, Karma Yoga, first step in spiritual practice. Then second, Swadhyaya, Swa-adhyayana, self-learning, learning of own self, learning of all the spiritual text, Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutrani, Veda, Upanishada, learned from the spiritual text. Jnana Yoga, yoga of knowledge, intelligence. It will be the second tool in Kriya Yoga. Tapaha, Swadhyaya. And third, Ishvara Pranidhanani, surrender to God, devotion, bhakti, prema, Bhakti Yoga. So the third tool will be Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Tapaha, Swadhyaya, Ishwar Pranidhan. This combination of these 3 different practices, Maharshi is saying Kriya Yoga, first tools to achieve samadhi. Then we have question Why should we do this Kriya Yoga practice? What is the purpose of this practice? Samadhi bhavanarthah kleshatanukaranarthascha. Two purpose to do this practice, Kriya Yoga. First, that we already know because we are coming from the first chapter, that now we know the Samadhi. I want to do practice. I want to some practical tools, and this is the practical tools, Kriya Yoga, Karma, Jnana, Bhakti. So this combination of three tools, it will lead to the Samadhi. So that is why I want to practice. What is the second purpose of this practice? Kleshatanu karanarthascha. Kleshaha. Every spiritual practitioner, when he or she is going into the path of the self-realizations or the Samadhi, there will be obstacles, and these obstacles are inbuilt in every human beings. So to remove this obstacle, to do tanu, to do reducing this obstacle, we should practice Kriya Yoga. So why I should do Kriya Yoga? For attaining Samadhi and to reduce the kleshaha, to reduce the obstacle. Samadhi bhavanarthah kleshatanukaranarthascha. So Samadhi and tanukaran of kleshaha, reducing this kleshaha obstacles. Then again questions will arise. What this kleshaha? How many kleshaha? Then Maharshi is saying there are 5 fundamental obstacles that will surround us, that will bound us for our ultimate freedoms. These are the fundamental obstacles. Avidya, smita, raga, dvesha, bhiniveshaha, pancha kleshaha. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhiniveshaha, kleshaha. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhiniveshaha. These are the 5 fundamental obstacles. Avidya, ignorance of own self. Asmita, wrong identifications. We think the drishta, the seer and seen, both are same. We cannot identify these 2 different entities. Wrong identifications. We think the sukha, we think the happiness is outside into material world, but in real it's inside us. Wrong identification. Asmita, rag, affection on any vishaya, any person, any situation. We are so much attached, so much affected with this outside world. That will be our klesha, because when we are attached with the outside world, then we cannot go inside. When the force of outside affection is so much intense, internal journey, it will be very difficult. We need to cut this thread. Raga, dvesha, aversion. Some people we don't like, disliking some situation, persons, and also we are always thinking about this enemy and all the wrong things that is happening. Again, we are attached with that. That is also bounding us inner journey. So it's also very major obstacle. Raga, dvesha. Abhinivesha, fearfulness. We are fearful that if we are going inside, then everything is going to vanish. Whatever the material achievement I have done, whatever the identification I have done, everything's going away. Then what I can cling on? I will be then nowhere. I will be in a shunya. I will be like nothing. What will happen? That type of fear is bounding us. So whenever some deep realization is happening, when we are passing through the boundary of Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, this Abhinivesha is coming down and then taking outside of these meditative states, because so fearful, that feeling we cannot go inside. This is also the very huge obstacles for any spiritual journey. Avidya, asmita, rag, dvesha, abhinivesha. Then Maharshi is going to explain each and every klesha in detail. Avidya, ignorance. Avidya kshetramuttareshaam prasuptatanu-vichchinnodharanam. Avidya kshetramuttareshaam prasuptatanu-vichchinno udaranam. Avidya, ignorance, is source of all the other four obstacles. Avidya kshetram uttaresham, whatever the four that is coming after avidya. So it out of five kleshaha, all the other four kleshas are coming from the root of these four klesha are avidya, ignorance. We don't know our true self. We don't know we are Brahman. We don't know we are Atman. And that wrong belief system and wrong identification ignores all the other things are coming out. So it's the seed of all other four kleshaha. Avidya, kshetram, uttaresham, prasupta, tanu, vichchinna, udaranam. Again, this avidya, that is the source of all these four different vrittis, and these four different vrittis has four different conditions. They have four different intensity. They have the four different growth strategy. Prasupta, tanu, vichchinna, udaraha. Prasupta, it's dormant. It's inside the physical layer. It's very deep inside of our consciousness. Same like when we are onto the farm and the seeds that is inside of the land. We cannot see there is a seed. We cannot see there is a flower. We cannot see something is there. We cannot realize, but inside, in deep inside, that vritti is there. Raga, dvesha, abhinivesh. Any vritti can be there in very deep inside. Prasupta, tanu, very feeble, very small. We cannot see by our naked eye. It's very small, very small. It's very deep inside and very small. We cannot realize this vritti. Not us and not others also. Then prasuptanu vichchinna udar. Udar is like in a full-fledged, everywhere you can see this vritti. Someone is very angry or someone has the anger issue, you can see in day-to-day life, we can realize this vritti. If someone has lots of affection, we can see this guy has this affection in their day-to-day, each and every activity. It's like profuse, it's like in their full-fledged growth. We can see everywhere, we can see the trees and huge bamboo trees. The same like huge bamboo trees, we can see this vritti, udar vritti. But some vritti are hiding behind this udar, intermittent. It's hiding themselves. It's called vichchinna. It's there, but we cannot see, even though it's very huge, even though it's there in the full fledged, but it's relative to the Udar Vritti, they are small. So that is why it's hidden. When this Udar Vritti is going to be slowed down, then we are going to realize that. So these 4 different conditions, 4 different states of this vritti. Prasupta tanu vichchinna udaranam. Avidya kshetramuttaresham prasupta tanu vichchinno udaranam. Then what this avidya, ignorance, will look like? How I can realize that I have this avidya? What is definition of avidya? Anitya suchi dukhanatmasu nitya suchi sukhatmakhyatera vedya. Anitya suchi dukhanatmasu nitya suchi sukhatmakhyatera avidya. Avidya. Anitya, impermanent. Anitya tattva, that is impermanent. We realize it as a nitya, permanent. Asuchi, when we say it's not, this is very ugly, lots of issues is there, and we can realize opposite, suchi, pure. So seeing purity in impure situation or impure the tattva, impure padartha, impure purusha, annamay, kosh, pranamay, everything is impure. But we can see this body is so much pure, and we are attracted toward this body, attracted toward the different situation. Even the deep inside we know these are not pure. But out of avidya, we are seeing the opposite things. Anitya, Shuchi, Dukha. We are seeing, like when there is the happy moment deep inside, there will be Dukha. But we realize as a happy moment. When we are going to celebrate birthday parties and we know, okay, everyone is singing for them, deep inside we know this is not the happy birthday, because I have already wasted one of my very great 1 year I am lost because of not doing any spiritual practice. So even in the happy moment there will be dukkha is already there, but we are realizing as a adukkha, sukha. Anitya, suchi, dukkha, anatmasu. When we see anatma, that is not permanent thing. We know this life is not permanent, but we are living life like we are going to be live forever. So that wrong belief system, that is what we call avidya. In anatma we are seeing atma. In outside world we are in the body we are saying that this is atma, the self is the body, self is my mind, self is my heart, but it's not actual real. Self is more far better than outside of these 5 koshaha, 3 shariraha. Annamay, Kosh, Pranamay, Manomay, Vijnanmay, Anandmay. It's outside of this all the boundaries. But we cannot realize because of this avidya, wrong belief system. Anitya suchi dukha natmasu, nitya suchi sukhatma khyati, avidya, wrong belief system. Asmita. What is definition of asmita? Second vritti, second obstacle in our spiritual practice. Drigadarshan shaktyo ekatmate vasmita. Drigadarshan shakyo ekatmate vasmita. Asmita. Drigadarshan shakyo ekatma, drig shakti, darshan shakti, seer and seeing. we realized or we experienced both are same. Seer and seen both are same, but we need to take difference between these two. Vivekaha, that seer and seen both are two different things, and I am the seer and the seen is different. Drashta, drashya. So drashta, drashya, both are two different things, but because of the asmita, asmita, wrong identification of self. That is why we are having trouble, we have dukkha, we have all the other hurdles in our day-to-day life because of this cause. And this is the second cause, that is called asmita. We cannot realize these two different identity, Purusha, Prakriti, both are different. Shiva, Shakti, both are different. Sukhanushai ragaha, Sukhanushai ragaha, Sukhanushai ragaha. So affection of outside world, affection of outside object, and when we are affected with this outside world, when we are affected liking one things, liking some person, liking some situation, liking any other thing that is outside, and we are going into the habit pattern, sanskara. When we are liking ice cream, we want again second time, when we need again third time, and that is we are going into the visha chakra, sansara chakra. Again and again we are going into that habitual pattern, and that will give us wrong belief system that sukha is outside, and when we are rotated into this vicious circle, we cannot go inside. So it's become our hurdle because we are affectionate with some external object. Sukhanushayiragha. We are being happy by outside world. So they have more power, outside world has more power to make me happy than my inner world. So whatever the powerful thing, it's going to win. So my inner world is not powerful, outer world is so powerful that makes me happy, that makes me feel happy, that makes me keep moving and moving and moving. That is what is called raga, obstacle. We cannot come outside of this all the vicious circle. And this vicious circle, not on the positive mode, that is also moving on the negative mode, not on the clockwise, it's also moving the anti-clockwise. Dukkhanushai dveshaha. We don't like some situation, we don't like some person, we don't like some things. If we eat some soy, if we drink milk and we have the allergy of lactose, we have some allergy of some situation, we have allergy of some persons, so we have that dvesha, we cannot accept that situation in our life. So always we have struggle, we always have the struggle of outside world, we have all the enemies, we are always doing negative cycle, we are always thinking about that negative cycle. This is what I don't want, this is what I don't want, and we are doing all the planning, all the strategy to be avoided by these situations. So both positive and negative, raga dvesha are, this circle are going on, and that habits, because of these habits we are moving on both sides, we cannot go inside. That is why these are become our hurdle of spiritual practice. And last, स्वरसवाही विदुषोऽपि तथारूढोऽभिनिवेशः स्वरसवाही विदुषोऽपि तथारूढोऽभिनिवेशः अभिनिवेशः स्वरसवाही विदुषोऽपि. Vidusha, very knowledgeable person, very knowledgeable saints, very knowledgeable Mahapurushaha, yogis, rishis, they are also fall in this category. This obstacle is so powerful, these people also cannot bypass this obstacle. It's called Abhinivesha. These are cleanliness with some identifications. I am a huge king. I am a CEO of my kingdom. I am Swami. I am Mahapurusha, Rishi, Sant, whatever the different social identifications they have created in their day-to-day life, they cannot remove that identification. They have the fear inside their mind that if they are going more inside of tyagaha, renunciation, this fear is coming outside in their heart, and they are coming outside of the spiritual path. So this Swarasavahi, that own self, that only becoming, only living by their own self. Swarasavahi, Vidushobi, Tatha Rudho, Tatha Arudha, they are capturing their own, their mind, body, self by this type of belief system. Cleanliness, attached with this outer society, outer progress, outer success, and they cannot go inside, more deep inside. Abhinivesha. It's also the huge hurdle for all the yogis, all the spiritual practitioners. Very difficult to come out of this obstacle. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhiniveshaha, Panchakleshaha, Panch, fundamental obstacle for spiritual practice. Then what we should do? We should make them as it is, and we will do the spiritual practice. So Maharshis say no. Te pratiprasava heyaha sukshmaha. Te pratiprasava heyaha sukshmaha. So these all 5 obstacles we need to do pratiprasava. We need to go what will be the root cause of this effect, cause and effect. So we see these 5 obstacles are effect, and there will be some cause. So we need to find out what is cause, and we need to remove this cause. We need to remove this karana. Pratiprasavaha. Heyaha. We need to get rid of these causes of all 5 effect, and we need to make them sukshmaha. We need to make them more smaller and more smaller, because when we are moving on the spiritual path, first we need abhyasa. So we need to do the spiritual practice, we need to do the positive way approach to attain our goal, but at the same time, what will be our hurdles? We also need to do the another approach to get rid of these obstacles, because we know this whole path we will have the obstacles, and if we are just moving on the positive attitude, okay, we don't care about the obstacle, and I will just focus on my journey, and I will focus on my, it's not going to work. In parallel, we need to make sure our hurdles become smaller and smaller. We need to find what is the root cause of these hurdles. Why is again and again coming and making my progress dull? Why making my speed low? We need to find the root cause also. And when we find the root cause, remove the cause, our spiritual practice will become more aggressive, it will become more successful, we can reach our destination more easily than before. So we need to do both, increase the speed, tivra samveganam asannaha, and remove the obstacle. Te pratiprasava heyaha sukshmaha. Then again question will arise, okay, how I can remove this obstacle? What are the techniques that I need? I know what are the techniques to attain samadhi. There are kriya yoga, tapaha, swadhyaya, ishwar pranidhanani, kriya yoga, that I can able to do to achieve samadhi. But what are other tools and techniques to remove these obstacles? Meditation. Dhyana heyas tadavruttayah. Dhyana heyas tadavruttayah. By doing meditation. Through meditation, we can reduce these all obstacles, all vrittis. Dhyana heyas tadavrittayah. Then what will be, you said, okay, we need to do prati prasava heyaha sukshma. We need to go for into the root cause of this vritti. Then what is the root cause of this all the vritti? We know the avidya is the root cause of other four vrittis, other four obstacles. But what is the root cause of avidya? क्लेशमूलः कर्माशयो दृष्टा दृष्टजन्म वेदनीयः क्लेशमूलः कर्माशयो दृष्टा दृष्टजन्म वेदनीयः क्लेशमूलः कर्माशयो दृष्टा दृष्टजन्म वेदनीयः karmashaya, whatever the action that we have taken before, whatever sanskara, whatever the previous action, karmashaya, because of this karmashaya, this all the klesha are getting bigger and bigger. And they are giving us the suffering, the root of this klesha. Kleshamulakaha karmashaya. So this kleshamulaha, the mool of this kleshaha, the cause of this kleshaha, karmashaya, and it will be drashta, drishta janma vedaniya, and they are giving us drashta, adrashta, something we can realize by our own senses. We cannot sometimes see because they are past karmas. So sometimes we realize or sometimes we cannot realize this cause, but it will be always there. Karma shayaha, drashta, adrashta, janma vedaniya. They are giving us birth, they are giving us all the different possibility, dukkha, vedan, experiencing. Drashta, drishta janma vedaniyaha, kleshamulaha karmashayo, drishta, drishta janma vedaniyaha. So these are the cause of all fundamental vrittis, and that is why we are going into the circle of this birth and death, and that is why we cannot move on to the spiritual aspect. So let's have until now, and the new chapter will begin when all the law of karma, Maharshi is going to explain what is law of karma, how karma is going to be created, what are the different steps, and how it is going to create the vrittis, and from the vrittis how we are going to the new birth, and all the dharma chakra Maharshi is going to be explained in later sutras.